was this question. The collision domain of fast Ethernet is limited to dash meters. So actually there are two things coming to collision domain. One thing is how many stations are going to collide when in a wire. That is also a collision domain. So one definition of collision domain is the number of stations that can get involved in collision with each other when connected to a LAN is called collision domain of the LAN. And I discussed about this collision domain in detail when I was talking about the hardware devices like switches, hubs and all, right? And this collision domain is bit different. They are this is bit different kind of it, in the sense here when they are talking about collision domain, what they actually mean is, from the context of the question I am deriving it. Actually collision domain is the number of stations always, but from the context of the question I am just deriving some other meaning. Okay, see this, what do they mean by collision domain here is, what is the maximum distance for which a collision can be detected. That is what they wanted to ask from this question. Collision domain has a different meaning, but from the context of this question I am deriving it. So what they actually mean is, if you have a Ethernet LAN, then what is the maximum distance that the LAN can run so that you could detect a collision. That is what they mean by this in this question. So they are saying that the collision domain of a fast Ethernet is limited to dash meters, which means how long can you detect a collision. That is what they mean to say. So that depends on various factors, right? So we know that minimum length of a packet is greater than or equal to 2 into TP into bandwidth. This is what we already know about this, right? And now what about the distance is, using this you can even find out what is the maximum distance that Ethernet can operate. So how can I find it out is, L is greater than or equal to 2 into TP is D by V into bandwidth. That implies D is less than or equal to L by 2 into V by B, right? This is the formula. So see this, D is less than or equal to, what is it, L into V divided by 2 into BS. So this is how we can get the collision domain what they are talking about. They wanted to see how long can we operate a Ethernet so that if there is any collision at the other side, you should be able to detect it. And that actually depends on the collision detection formula. This is the collision detection formula, if you remember it. L is greater than or equal to 2 into TP into bandwidth, and from there I derived the distance. Now what does this mean? In any Ethernet, the distance of the Ethernet should be less than or equal to D. If you run beyond this D, you will not be able to detect the collisions. Therefore, using this formula you can find out the meters. Now they are talking about Ethernet, fast Ethernet. Fast Ethernet is a standard Ethernet, and actually when they give you this question in GATE, they will also give you all the parameters. What is the length of the packet, what is the velocity, bandwidth, but then without giving the parameters they have directly given it. But in exam they are going to give you all the parameters and you can substitute here and you can get it. But for here, just remember that fast Ethernet, when you substitute all these values in the fast Ethernet which are standard, you will get the answer to be 250 meters, and all are in meters. Okay, 250 meters. And then the normal Ethernet, which is 10 Mbps, it will have 2500 meters as the collision domain, and fast Ethernet will have 100 Mbps bandwidth. And gigabit Ethernet, will have 1 Gbps bandwidth, and in this case you have 25 meters. So see this, as the bandwidth is increasing, the distance is decreasing, obviously, right? When it is 10 Mbps, it is 2500, and when this bandwidth is increased to double, which means when it is 100 Mbps, it is 100 Mbps. When it is 100 Mbps, it is 250, obviously, right? So when you increase this, it is going to be 250, and when it is 1 Gbps, it is going to be 25 meters. So just remember this, but anyway in exam they will give you all the parameters and you can derive this anyway. Okay, this is how you should solve it. Actually collision domain means the number of stations, but coming to this context, what they mean is the amount of the distance that the LAN can run. Okay.